Hello, friends. This is Raj Kapoor coming back to you with my friends Donna and Bill. I hope, friends, you watched the first video, the first live that we did. If not, we have a link. You can go and take a look at that because it had some wonderful, great nuggets. And I got such wonderful feedback to my direct messages from that live and from the video. So, what did we talk about? Let me just go over that a little bit. See, we talked about in our last video that the three basic components of a six-figure coaching and training company that most coaches get wrong. And really, it cost them wasted money and time. Today, what we are going to explore, why these are so important, why they have to be done in this order, and why you need to know how to do this correctly. And these are branding, marketing, platforms, operation pricing for profit. Now, friends, uh, I have the experts here who know all about it. What I would tell you is that we are bringing you this in series so we can give you in chunkable format so you can understand this and you can get the gist out of it, because we have proven process which has worked. It is not something which we are guessing. This is something which is coming from years and years of solid experience, specifically with Bill. And we spoke about that in our first video as to who he has worked with. Impressive, isn't it? Because all the places he worked with, the results were amazing, are still amazing. And that's what we are bringing to you. So the three videos, what, why, and how. We talked about the what in the first video. Now, today, we are going to talk about the why. And then in the next one, we will be talking about the how. But Bill, why did you choose these three components?
Well, that's a good question, Raj, and thanks for having us back. It's really two things. One is the way I started this was I looked at all the reasons that businesses failed, and I looked at a number of failure lists. See, small businesses, like any company, goes through a growth stage. It's kind of like children go through growth stages. And when you look at each stage of growth, there are reasons that businesses do not move on. So we built it from the failure points. But also it was something else. It was one of those moments, you have the blinding flash of the obvious. And after 4 decades in business, I come to the realization that startup companies really aren't businesses, they're experiments. Because until you work out the factors, you don't know really what to build. So we combine those two things together to say, okay, the essence of it is, one, what are we selling to whom? Okay, and getting that messaging correct. Then we've got to build the delivery systems in the company in order to deliver on that. And that's not only how am I going to deliver a product or service, but also the back office. And then third is, how do I manage the financials so I can manage cash flow to profitability? Now, what's obvious from what's missing here is sales. And most people would say I would go in there first. It's fourth, because if I don't have these three right, then what am I selling to whom? Can I make a profit at the price point I selected, or have I selected the wrong price point and therefore I can't sell it anyway? And so that's how we came up with those three. Is number one is, who are you selling to? What are you selling? What's the messaging? What's the value added that you're going to provide to this individual? And if you're selling to people, if it's a B2C sale, it's always lifestyle. In other words, you're selling something that they are making a statement about themselves to themselves, and then they're making a statement about themselves to everybody else. If you're selling to business, it's competitive advantage. How do you make my business better from the offer that I am purchasing? Okay, once we've got that, and that's not super difficult to find, but you really got to hone in on it. Then it's, how do we build the thing, and how do I get my cost structure together so that then when I come in and I say, okay, I've got maybe 3 or 4 months and I've got to be able to make some revenue. How do I manage my money until I get to that point? And that's how we came up with it. And so it was a combination of 40 years and just a lot of research that we had done as well.
And what we were excited about, if I can jump in here,
Please,
the
please.
sales piece that you mentioned, Bill, how I was one of them. I wanted to learn how to sell. I want to learn how to market, but I didn't really even have a coherent thought together on what I was selling. And so, Raj, when we add your wealth mindset piece to that, that's really the bridge into sales. You have to have that right mindset first. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? How that
Oh, absolutely,
transitions?
absolutely. But first, let me tell you, friends, what Bill just brought to you was not just years of wisdom, but main thing is that he has had success with these things.
Yeah,
See, many
pretty
times what
massive
happens
success
is,
too at some in there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we built one
I like to
company.
brag on Bill.
We built one company to 10 million in 3 years.
there you are.
It was a coaching company too, right?
It was a consulting company, but we
Yeah.
won't quibble. over
Yeah.
Those C words.
But main thing is, friends, what happens is many times we get knowledge and we believe we need more knowledge, more knowledge. Like last time in the first video, Bill had said, the problem is it's not more knowledge that you need. It is the proven process, a system. That is what you need. That's what we are bringing to you. And with that, what I work with, the wealth mindset. So this is where I come with wealth mindset. And why do I believe it is so important? So we have the processes, we have the techniques, we are bringing you every single thing. This is a complete business building, complete. And important component of that is a wealth mindset. The reason I went into wealth mindset for all these years, working as a chief financial officer and working with people who are making really great money, but they didn't know how to manage the money, and business people who didn't know how to grow the money. And at that juncture, after talking to hundreds of people, hundreds of coaches literally, I figured out that it was not the growth mindset that they're lacking. Because everyone who is a coach, a consultant, a person who is an author, they have the growth mindset. They are investing in themselves. What's lacking many times is the wealth mindset, where there are these wealth wounds that many people have coming from maybe their childhood. And they keep on running them where they feel that there may be an imposter syndrome, so-called imposter syndrome. Can I charge enough for my services, for my program? Would some of them people are asking, can I even charge? Because they are doing so much free stuff. And this all boils down to your wealth mindset. So a big component in this whole program is your wealth mindset. I'll be working with you on that, because once you have the right wealth mindset, that is what builds a solid foundation then for the next part of the growth. So Donna, let me ask you something. When we talked about the three components, why exactly did you put them in that order?
Raj, that's a great question. And really it has to do with the comment that Bill made that all early stage businesses, all startups are experiments. And so if you think about entering into the experiment, the first thing that you have to do is know who you are. And so you start with the branding piece. And I have sat and spoken with countless coaches over the years. And the big question is, what do I call my business? There's this, do I brand it as me? Do I come up with some catchy name? How do I do this? And so we need to start there to give you the confidence to say that you are your brand, and that your product, your offer, whatever it is that you're selling has its own brand. And that's what gets the icon. That's what gets the logo. You don't get your logo. Your name doesn't get the logo. It's your offer that does, because that's going to be selling a promise out there. And in the experiment, you want to get into that process as soon as possible, because it's going to iterate. There's iterations of it. So when you start thinking about, and you're working with Stephen, our guy, or whoever you're working with in this process, you want to get clear on what makes you uniquely you. And what is that promise to your ideal client? Who is your ideal client? Who do you want to work with? That's a big thing for them. So this is the first stage of it, is to just start entering into the experiment with the imagination and with the dream of who are you? What are you offering? Who do you want to work with? And let that start to grow. It's planting that early seed. Then when you get to Bill, in the next phase, we say operations and platforms, because at that point, there is a way to put together a package to make it most profitable. Bill, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, especially in the services business, especially for coaches, is that what are you, and consultants have the same problem. What are you going to coach or consulting on? And if you're tied to an organization like Maxwell, I was tied to Blanchard, there are multiple options. There's really too much. The menu's too large.
I got 2 DISC certifications and 3 coaching certifications. Where do I go with that?
Yeah. And so the menu's too large. So you've got to look at it and say, look, I'm serving a home meal here. I got to put together the first menu, and it's going to be simple. It's going to be direct. It's going to be something that I can sell. Because part of this, and this is why what Raj is doing is so important, is in sales, if you don't believe in your offer and you don't believe in your price point, you're not going to pull it off. Well, we're doing the due diligence here to make sure that your messaging is good, you've selected the right item, you got your pricing together, but Raj is still needed there because you've got to believe that that's true. Because if you don't believe it's true, the customer can sense immediately that you have no confidence in your offer,
just like
and they're
God,
not going
there's
to
no
buy.
fear.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about being arrogant about it. It's got to be one of those, if you buy from me, you will get what I promise.
Mhm.
And you have to be that certain about it when you deliver it. Well, what Donna's point is that you have a multitude of things you can do. Let's focus on the thing right now. And in those sessions where I would be taking people is, what is your educational background? What industries have you worked in? As you've gone through the various coaching programs, what really synced up with you? Where are you simpatico?
Lit your fire.
And so you can express, when you get in front of somebody, whether it's on a Zoom call or on a telephone call or face to face, is that you absolutely believe to the core of your being that if they buy from you, they're going to get exactly what you are promising, and they're going to see the value in it. And so later on, you can add all those other items, but right now is the minimally viable offer. What's the simplest thing that you can do? And then let's build the infrastructure around that so it gets delivered consistently, maybe not perfectly, but pretty close to perfectly.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where my focus is going to be in operations.
Yeah.
And tools I give you when you want to build the second thing and the third thing, you just use the tools because it's the same process.
Perfect. So just to bring you up to speed to where we are now, you have to start with what it is you want to do, creating that brand, creating that signature offer. And what does it entail exactly? Like, what are the steps? What is getting really intimate with your dream is really what's in the marketing and branding, that first phase. And then you go to the next phase of putting the package together and being so confident with it. We have a client that we're working with through this process right now who landed her ideal client. I think I might have mentioned that in the last video. And I'm working on an evergreen course for her, a course that will sell over and over and over again. And her sweet spot as a coach is to work with business partnerships. So are they married? Are they just friends? Are they whatever? And she goes through the phases of that. And what she found in the process is not only that the branding came out, it's the captain of your ship. Who's the captain of your ship? And it's this whole nautical theme because she sails. And so it's entrepreneurship, it's relationship, and it's ownership. And yeah, and then she got to the next part of, well, I don't know what to charge. I think I'll charge $270 or $249 for it. Do you think that's good, Donna? I said, I don't know. Why don't you ask some people? And when she went into a focus group and asked, they said, that is so low. You should be charging at least $1,000 for this. And so that brings into the pricing piece, why you need to be speaking to someone who knows how to find your uniqueness and what the value is with that. And when you're working with a professional that gives you that feedback, just like Sarita got, you sit a little taller and you say, yes, I should be charging this for it. And you can go forward with the wealth mindset of knowing your value and the value of what you're offering. And so that's why we put those 3 components into that particular order so that they can iterate. When Sarita started, it wasn't about the captain of your ship. It wasn't nautical. It was, I have these ideas. I don't know what to do with them, but I know I want a course. And so we started with the marketing and branding piece. And then as she iterated and went through the process, wasn't that genius what she did about the ownership, relationship, and entrepreneurship, right? The 3 ships of the dynamic partnerships. And so those are those 3 components. That's why they're in that order. That's why the experiment and the iterations are necessary. And then why we want to partner, and we did partner with Raj on the wealth mindset part to it.
Yeah, because we recognize that is a missing piece. So after we go through the 3 modules and we have the coaching at the end, is more than likely that almost all the coaching is going to focus on sales and how to get the sales that you need. Now, everybody is different, and I'm sure we'll get some difference there, but I would say for the most part, our focus is going to be on sales. And one other thing I want to say about what Sarita did is that one of the reasons she landed our ideal client is that part of her relationship with us is that she had her own podcast and she had her own radio show. And when her prospective client was shopping around and testing different people out, after hearing Sarita, the other competitors were gone. They had to have Sarita because what they heard was they actually sampled what she had to sell without having to buy it.
Yeah, the lead magnet. You talked
Wonderful.
about that on your virtual dinner party.
Yeah, I did. Yes. And then friends, did you see how powerful this is? So this is what I'll tell you right now. Once you're done with the 6-month program, you will have a blueprint. You will have the right mindset. They will all be yours for life. So you invest once and you get a blueprint which you can use for anything else in your life, for the rest of your life, whatever business you're trying to do. Because getting this foundation built is essential. And it's a team of experts who have had proven results in their own fields and areas who are bringing you this. You just heard from Bill. You just heard from Donna. They are experts in their own field. I have been doing my own work. I know what I have done in all these years and the difference that I have been able to make to all the people that I have coached and worked with. And so what you are going to get is something, as I said, which is going to last you for a lifetime. All you need to do is to grow into it because there is so much there. There is so much there. And as Bill said, see, what I love here is that you have all the information. What happens with most of us with businesses is we overcomplicate things. We just start doing too much. And what Bill said, simplify it. We'll give you everything, but in a very simplified format, and you can apply it right away. It's not that you keep on doing this, and doing this, and finally hope. Hope is not a strategy. We all know that, okay? So that is what I would bring to you, is to listen to us, set up, and as I said, one thing is very important, that we are only going to be working with 15 people. That's it, no more. And so the first 15 people who are going to come in, and I would say book a call with Donna. We are going to put a link in like we did last time. We are going to put a link in. You can talk to her. You can get a free strategy session. That's what you're going to get. And many times it may be something.
It's a coaching session, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And many times you might say, hey, it may be good, maybe not good. You talk to her, you'll find out. If not, you'll walk away with something which you never had before. It'll be that good. I can promise you that. Okay. So as we wrap up, first let me ask Bill if there's anything he wants to add in, and then Anna, maybe you can add in anything.
No, I think pretty much you covered. I think, Raj, you did a good job of simplifying the offer. It's pretty simple. We know what it takes to get a business started. It's an experiment. How do you figure out what you should be doing so you don't waste any time or any resources? You don't build what you don't need. And our process is the whole growth of a company is a sequencing of steps. You build what you're supposed to have when you're supposed to have it, not early and then you don't use it. You waste the time and energy. And really, in a small business, it's the energy and focus of the owner entrepreneur that's probably more critical than the available money. You're going to burn yourself out if you don't stay focused on the few things that are going to move it forward, because at some point you're going to want to feel a reward. You're going to want to see this has worked, and you want to beat the odds. The typical small business owner does not pay themselves for 3 years. Just think about that. Are you prepared to go 36 months without a check? Now, I'm not talking about not having the money. I'm talking about not having the reward, the evidence that it works. We want to collapse that down as much as possible. And whatever it is your sales cycle is going to be, that's what we want to confine it to. But you need that reinforcement. Otherwise, you'll quit. You'll go, this is not for me.
Wonderful. Donna?
Yeah, thanks, Raj. I enjoy talking about this. You know, I do. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I'm a business coach. Bill's the consultant. I'm the coach in this dynamic duo that we have together. And so really, when you book a call with me, it's a coaching session. That's what I was interjecting. It's not just strategy. We'll coach, we'll go into your business and get you a takeaway of one of these 3 areas that you can be implementing right away into your business. And if you're a good fit for one of the 15 in the cohort group, we'll talk about that too. But this isn't a sales call. This is about growing businesses, because that's our passion.
Absolutely. Wow. Wonderful. So friends, I hope that was helpful. I hope we were able to bring you value. And as I said, take your next step, and I hope to see you on the other side. Okay.
Yep.
Take care, and we will be coming back with another video very soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.